Hi everyone, this is AG47 Liberty. I'm here to talk today about the Glass Steagall Act. One of the things that bothers me, a lot of people perceive this Glass Steagall Act as a way that it would have prevented our current economic crisis in this country. Well, I think the Glass Steagall Act was basically a fantasy of protecting us, just like everything else the government does. It's just a mere fantasy. Gotta remember, the people who control the government are the rich and the powerful, those who are connected. Glass Steagall, let's look at this logically. Glass Steagall, I believe, was set up to protect people, was to protect the well-connected. Not just rich, but rich as in politically connected and receive their money through government force in some way or another through subsidies or protection from like letting competition get into the marketplace. So that's what I'm talking about. So let's examine who set it up, which was Roosevelt. Now, what we know about presidents ever since the Federal Reserve was established is that these presidents have all been puppets of the banking elite, those who want to control the economy. So they set up this Glass Steagall, definitely not to protect us, but to protect them for whatever reason. But it's there for their benefit, not ours. So let's fast forward from there to the 1990s when Bill Clinton had it repealed. And all of a sudden they went crazy. What I think was it was repealed because they wanted it repealed. I believe this protection, Glass-Steagall, this protection that they thought they had all of a sudden turned into a barrier, a hindrance to any further expansion into the economy. So they got Clinton to repeal it, and it also after he repealed it, it made their activities legal, because you got to think about it, they were probably already doing a lot of these financial transactions and dealings in sideways or in secretive ways. They were already being done. By eliminating Glass-Steagall, it brought it all above board. Made it easier for them to do business. It helped them overcome those barriers that was restricting their expansion. So that's why they got rid of Glass-Steagall. That's the logic behind it. I don't know the particulars, but the logic behind it is still the same. And, you know, and also another reason why they may have gotten rid of Glass-Steagall, it was to draw in younger, more inexperienced, smaller firms, or even powerful, rich firms that were less connected or not connected at all. And they knew that through all this money printing and being connected, that they could eventually just pull the rug out of underneath their competitors, thus solidifying their place in the market. And through the force of government, thus making them the power or the monopoly force in government. So, in the economy, I'm sorry. So anyway, also, why I believe it's also a fantasy is, can you think of any government law or regulation that the government actually follows? For instance, the Coinage Act of 1792. They basically said if you mess or counterfeit with those in charge of making sure that the weights and measures are good and the money supply is good and they're not forfeiting money, counterfeiting money, that if they were ever caught doing that, adulterating the money in any way, that it would be under the penalty of death. Okay, well, that didn't stop them. The Constitution was written with the Bill of Rights, limiting the government. That hasn't stopped them. Ask any Indian whether the government honored any of their treaties. That didn't stop them. So that brings up the question, since the government has ignored every law and restriction placed upon it and their friends, why in the world would Glass-Steagall be any different? Why was this? Is this the only golden law out there? That, oh my God, I got it right, got it perfect? Therefore, it followed it? Come on, let's think of it logically. If the government is the problem in all this, you can't go to the government for the solution. Glass Steagall was not a solution. It just drives me nuts. Oh, if we just had Glass Steagall again, everything would be hunky-dory. Oh, if Obama was just this way, or whatever great person was just this way, everything would be, there's no law, there's no person that's going to make everything hunky-dory. Glass Steagall, that's a fantasy. It is an absolute fantasy, and we have to realize that. The solution is not in government. It's not in law. It's in the actions of people. And the only way to limit the power of these people is through the power of competition. Only competition and a free market will bring around the justice that we seek in our lives. Thank you very much, and remember, trust in God. Everyone else pays in silver.